All right, greetings, man. It's been a while, but again, right here, we're back to back. So now, in this right here, guys, this video right here, guys, I really want to deal with now this legend of the 10 rings. I really want to deal with it. So now, originally, now the legend of the 10 rings, I kind of slept on the legend of the 10 rings. I didn't really, it wasn't a must watch for me at the time. But then, obviously, I think the 12th now they just released it, Disney Plus, the IMAX enhanced version, which basically what it meant was that instead of getting the widescreen, I think it was the 16 by 9, that's the cinema widescreen, they actually extended it a bit more to get the full. I didn't realize this. I was like, what's this IMAX? What's this IMAX? So again, that's really what it was. But again, man, it was brilliant. The 10 rings, it was fantastic. So really, I'm gonna get my first impression. So now, really, one of my first impressions for it, really, again, the cinematography. Again, there's some of the shots, the greenery was crazy. Some of these shots were amazing. Again, the greenery when they first came to the village. Again, the greenery, it was just fantastic. I don't know if it was the HDR, the TV I had, or maybe that was the actual natural greenery. I don't know what they was dealing with, but it was incredible. Some of the shots, it was incredible. The movie it was a solid overall movie. You know, I would actually recommend this more than Eternals. I would actually recommend this more because this is just it's fantastic. Again, so now the 10 rings. So now when you deal with the 10 rings now, a lot of people don't know this, but actually the 10 rings that actually goes back to Kemet. Again, I want to insert this right here now. Again, so this right here, guys, as you can see on your screen right now, this is the 10 rings. Again, these are the rings right here. Again, this is actually goes back to the King Tut. When Howard Carter found his tomb, he actually found King Tut like this in situ, and these 10 rings were on his body. These rings were on his body. So again, the rings, again, this is actually Kemet. So again, that's really what it is. But also the rings now, what we're really dealing with, which we can touch on a little bit later. It actually kind of connects to Doctor Strange and other stuff there. Kind of connects there. But also, again, you guys know the Saturn, again, Lord of the Rings, and then the Olympic rings, and then also you see, but also now, and then you got Sonic the Hedgehog with the rings, but then also you've got the Eternals, and that's what we was about to touch on the last one, but I want to touch on it here. The Eternals, they was dealing with the rings. Right? And actually, what was actually happening was, based on that movie, they had the rings, but then the rings actually connected them to the emergence, and actually for to form the Unimind, and when they had the Unimind, that was actually connected to the actual Tiamat. So again, the rings. So now I want to deal with, again, and this is why this movie was so much better, because it was a fully rounded movie. This movie was so much better because, again, they had these dragons. So now, what happened was, obviously, when the father now came to basically looking for the mom and all this other stuff, then when they finally came to the village now, he fought the son. The son went into the water, and then this dragon came out. But actually, so now I want to break down the dragon. So essentially, that dragon right there, that's Indra, basically. That's basically Indra, and what Indra does, they slay the other great dragon, and the other great dragon now actually uses his body to create reality, create the universe. That's really what it takes place. So that's actually Indra. You see, the first dragon is actually Indra. You see. So really, but it's actually quite funny because that whole village, their weapons were these dragon scales, these dragon weapons. You see, and when the father actually opened up, the gate to the other dragon, which we're going to touch on, the other dragon, and these other beings started coming out. Their weapons were useless. It was only with the weapons with the dragon scales. But it's funny because their weapons, or their power, was the dragon scales, but yet those dragon scales were the same dragon scales that held back the great dragon behind the wall. So really, their power at that village was actually being drawn from the power of that dragon that they said was evil. So in actuality, that village, they were the bad guys. They were actually the bad guys. You see, just like, again, go back to Doctor Strange, how she was telling the dark dimension was evil, but that she was drawing power from the dark dimension. It's the same scenario. It's the same scenario once again. So that village, they were actually the bad guys. And the guy with the 10 rings, he was the good guy. The father, he was actually the good guy. So now the great dragon behind the wall now, that again, you guys must have not probably guessed it. That actually Tiamat. So that was actually Tiamat behind the wall. Again, so this again links to the Eternals. Really, once again links to that. That was actually Tiamat behind the wall. You see. So again, and it's the same old story, into that and the Great Dragon and the Slay the Great Dragon, so on and so forth. That's really what that was. You see. So again, the dragon, the sea dragon was Indra, and that was Tiamat now. You see. But obviously, then the Tiamat, that's actually obviously going with the Sumerian stuff and all that. But then that's actually a similar concept going into the Hindu system. It's the same story, the recurring story over and over again. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's really what that was. But again, I disagree with how he essentially defeated the dragon. He killed the dragon, the great dragon, which is impossible, But again, with the 10 rings, but really, I would say it would have been better off for him to subdue the dragon. But again, I understand, but really that's actually impossible. So again, which is why I disagree with the Eternals. But then they cleaned it up towards the end, showing how he's not actually gone, but he's just being stored. Again, so I disagree with the fact that they actually took the great dragon out. That's impossible. But again, I understand this. This is really what's taking place. So really, again, the 10 rings, it was fantastic. But again, like we just showing you, that's Kemet. That goes back to Kemet once again. But I like how they showed it with Doctor Strange and how they connected those two worlds together, and showing how really it'd be interesting to see now how 10 Rings guy comes into the MCU now with Doctor Strange. And yeah, because that's really what it comes down to. That's really what that is with the 10 rings. I want to go into it too much, but through the 10 rings, that's really dealing with that whole Doctor Strange system, you see. And when you're tapping into some of the stuff, the rings and this, what I'm saying, that's really what comes down to. So again, the rings really is power. It's power. But power in regards to some of the more Doctor Strange elements, some of that universe, for those who deal with that, that's really where that comes from. But again, we're just showing you that's also Kemet. So again, that's pretty much it, guys. So again, just a quick one right here. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you took some good information from this. All right, people. Thanks for watching.